There. Is it recording? Yeah. I'm going to record this to my, in regard to volume. Alex is correct. So I recorded this. I'm going to post it, put it on YouTube for you guys to watch and review. I did that with the farm class last semester and it helped. So metric system is the most common. What's metric system? Kilograms, milligram, micrograms. Household, I talked about this already. Teaspoons, pounds, you're cooking something, making something. This is what your instructions are in. Apothecary, it's what our pharmacists use to measure medications from grains to drams. You don't have to remember much of this. It's just there for show and tell. So let's talk about the weight for the metric system. We use it for weight. Oh, at least we use it for weight. So in the medical field, we use, in the medical field, we use, you guys, when you go to, I'm a fight guy, I like boxing. And when they introduce the boxers, and if you remember, they go, this is Michael Jackson. He weighs 150 pounds. This is Joey, he weighs 250 pounds. We don't use pounds in the clinical settings. We use kilograms. So one thing you guys are gonna learn is how to convert pounds into kilograms. This is how our pharmacists dose the medication in a clinical setting. To measure medication dosage weights, there's different weights, kilograms, grams, milligrams. And as a review, 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams, 1 milligram is 1,000 micrograms. If you're not familiar with micrograms, you will. It's the smaller piece of that, of the equation. So a kilogram is great. Skip that. So far, it's all basic information. So next, under the metric system is volume. In our world, we speak mLs. We speak in liters or milliliters. If my patient needs a bowl, I'm not sure if you have the bolus yet. If my patient needs an IV fluid of normal saline, or in the picture up here, lactate ringers, we're going to give this patient a 1 liter bolus, meaning this bag of saline that's on the screen, I'm going to give this to the patient as fast as I can. Maybe they're dehydrated. Maybe they're in shock for whatever reason it is. 1 liter. Maybe we need to give this patient only 500 mLs. Then it's going to go into the mLs, not 0.5 liters. Technically you can, but in the hospital setting, you're going to see liters and mLs. Do that. And most of your medications will be in ml. I may have this vial here of Ativan, and I need to give my patient 2 mLs of this Ativan. So I'm going to draw up 2 mLs of Ativan and give it to the patient. Okay. If you need more than an ml, 5-10 mLs, then you're going to be talking about infusion that's going into a big bag. But that's a different story. Another way we use this is for intake and output. How much did they urinate? I peed in the urinal and I had 400 mLs out. I puked in one of those puke bags, and I measured it because it has a measuring thing, and I puked out 150 mLs of emesis. How much did I drink? I drank this cup of coffee, 240 ml. As you can see, everything has a measurement, especially when we get to the critical care part of this. We are measuring every single drop that goes in the patient and every single drop that comes out of the patient. It is vital for the care. for the patient care. Because imagine if we're giving this patient a total of, let's say, 500 mLs an hour of medications, IV stuff, IV fluids, and they're only peeing out 50 mLs, that is a red flag. That means the rest of the patient's input is staying inside their body. That means that can be anything from renal failure to maybe they have a urinary issue, obstruction. Something is happening that is causing for this patient to retain the fluids instead of pee it out. Next, length. Conversion, we're also going to be converting. We like to use centimeters in our hospital setting. When you get to your hospital, at least when you get to a Valley Health System hospital, which is your Henderson, Desert Springs, Centennial, Spring Valley, Valley Hospital. I'm missing one, but on top of the patient information, on top of the chart, you're going to see the patient's height and weight. The height is going to be in centimeters and the weight is going to be in kilograms. Remember that, because when you start doing your clinical paperwork, it's right up there. You don't have to dig for it. And also, we use millimeters. You guys will be measuring wounds. I know it sounds nasty. It smells, but when patient has a wound, we have to measure it there's rulers and measuring tools in the hospital, because so you guys, nurses, can measure if this wound is getting better or not. So if this wound on the picture here is, let's say, 2 millimeters by 2 millimeters today, and next week I measure it again, and it's now 2.5 to 3 millimeters. This is an oh crap moment. Whatever we're doing is not working because it's getting worse. So next is the size of catheters. This is another one that you guys are going to be familiar with. This is my 22 gauge IV from right here. Blue is 22 gauge, and right here, this IV is 0.9 in length and 25 millimeters. 0.9 and 25 millimeters. So it's very, very small. This IV stuff, you will get very familiar with us. If you might even have a clinical lab, you might even have skills lab now that you will learn how to put IVs in, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's in the first semester. I hope it is, because you need that before you get to your clinical setting. Not yet? Oh, that's the fun part. Poking people. Next, let's talk about abbreviations. We have standard abbreviations that we use in the hospital. Look at the list up here. This is standard. If you don't know it, you need to know it. If you don't know it, you're going to know it. You're going to end up knowing it over time, because this is what we use, and these are the only units of measurement or abbreviations we use. Kilograms, grams, milligrams, microgram. One thing that students make a mistake, especially for testing purposes, is mix up milligrams and micrograms. They're very close. Look at your liters and milliliters, centimeters and millimeters. Doses for milligrams and micrograms, by the way, is like this much of a difference. So if you're giving a patient 10 mics of something, 10 milligrams of something instead of 10 mics, that's a huge overdose. On test, micrograms, let me see. For the first test, I am going to put micrograms and parentheses micro mcg. Just for the first test. so I can, you guys can get used to it. But after that, I'm gonna use MCGs, micrograms. It's like a down payment for you guys. Because after here, we're gonna talk about it some more, and you're gonna get used to it. Here are some equivalents. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. 1 grams, 1,000 milligrams. 1 milligrams, 1,000 micrograms. See the big difference there in dosing. Milligrams to 0.001. And go down the list. It's remember this from your math class. It's moving the decimals. Items that weigh a gram. I don't know what those metal things are, money and this white powder. Let's convert grams to milligrams. Same thing. It's basic stuff. Most of you know this already, but I have to go through it because I don't know if everybody has it. Step 1, write the order, write the supply. Next, show which way the decimal point should move by drawing a less than or more than. The Pac-Man sign. Make sure the larger sign is facing the largest number. Remember, 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams, and move the decimal point 3 places to the left. It sounds complicated. It's not. Do we round up or down from milligrams to grams? Good question. No. Good question. Because if we want you to round to something, you will be instructed to it. It will be part of the question. Blah, 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 question. Round your answer to the nearest, to the hundreds. Round your answer to a whole number. So these rounding is specific to a question. So there's no generic rounding rule, especially here. And now we're talking about medication calculations. Good question. So this complicated grams to milligram conversion, I don't know who wrote this. It sounds complicated, but I have to put it up there. It's not. It's not. So step 1, order is 0.5 grams. There's my steps here on the left. Number 1, write the order. Order is 0.5 grams. Number 2, write the supply. Supply, we have 250 milligrams per tablet. Okay. Number 3, to convert grams into milligrams, put it in such an equation. 0.5 grams to milligrams. Grams is greater than milligrams. That's why we have this. Greater than. Next. Oh, make sure the arrow is pointing towards the milligrams. Move the decimal 3 places towards the arrow. 1, 2, 3 for 500 milligrams. And that's not the question. Oh, I forgot to read the question. How many tablets do I need for 5.5 grams of ampicillin? So then you can do the calculations from there. 500 milligrams divided by 250 is 2 tablets. I forgot to read the question, but technically, if you read this question, most of you can probably do it in your head, but start working on the calculation, because come testing time, you need to show your work. Because one thing that happens during testing time is you do the work, it's perfect, but you click the wrong thing on the computer, so it's wrong. The computer doesn't know that you did the work wrong. But if you come to me after the test and I review it and I see you did everything right, I don't know, maybe you sneezed or you fell asleep for half a second, you clicked the wrong thing, then I will give it to you. As I told any of my previous students, if you can prove me wrong on my test, at least, if you can prove me wrong, I'll give it to you. That's my generic rule. Here's another question. Administer 3 grams and available pills are 500 milligrams per tab. How many tablets do you need? You just did it in your head. What is that? 6? The order is 3 grams. Available is 500 milligrams per tab. There's my conversion. I'm going to move my decimal 3 places to the right, which will give me 300 milligrams. Do my calculations. 300 over 500 is 6. Simple math, simple math. Bear with me. I'm setting you up. Pop quiz. How about this? Dr. Kevorkian ordered 0.4 grams of ivermectin. How many milligrams is contained in the medications? Yell it out loud or put it in the chat box. 0.4 grams. How many milligrams is that? 400. I don't think so. You guys are wrong on this one. I think it's 40 because I don't remember. 4,000 milligrams. 1, 2, 3. CCC. Oh, wait. No, it's 400. There. I put the arrow in wrong. Ooh, now it's screwed up. All right. I'll put the arrow. I should have. It's 400. 400. Because we're moving the decimal 3 places to the right. Next, let's do some calculations. We're going to start calculating some drug dosages. There's 3 ways of doing this. One is desired over half. I want this dosage, I'm going to say 250 milligrams of something, but I have 10 milligrams of something. Okay. And dimensional analysis, we'll get to that. And ratio and proportion, we'll get to that also. Is Jean on here? Jean, are you here? Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, don't be absent on the first day on the job. Jean is well versed in this. If you have any question, Jean, use Jean as your resource. Okay. So dimensional analysis. Step 1, begin with what you have, determine what you want, create a conversion factor, and set up the math with the conversion factor. Now we start doing that cross multiplication stuff and cancel the units. So in this case, how many yards are in 52 feet? Begin with what you have. I have 52 feet. Determine what you want. I don't know how many yards I have. So, but what I know is 1 yard is 3 feet. So I'm going to set it up as so. 1 yard over 3 feet, or 3 feet over 1 yard. Next, I'm going to work on this problem. I'm going to set it up as 52 feet times 1 yard over 3 feet. Cross multiplication, cancel, 3 feet. And which brings me 52 over 3 is 17.33. Yeah. Do we get a calculator and test? Yes. No. We're not doing hand unless you want to. That's optional. But the calculator is yes. Typically, we would give you, when we do these math calculations tests, I would give you the generic, like a 25-cent calculator. We have hundreds of them on campus, and this is what we give students for testing purposes. So we don't have so you can't use your iPhone, your TI-84, or any other advanced level calculators. At least I have to go find them on campus, but we have a couple of weeks for that. So here's another example of the dimensional analysis. And there's a lot of text there. You guys can read that. But write the doctor's order. This must be done as a fraction. Doctor's order, 250 milligrams of something. So we have 250 milligrams over 1. Now write down the amount and the strength and the amount of medication you have available. In this case, our medication comes in a 5 ml at 250 milligrams. Okay, so now I will set it up like this. 250 milligrams over 1 times 5 ml over 250 equals 5 ml. For this week, how we can use the calculator? You want us to multiply on paper? You can use the calculator. Use the calculator. Do not, this is not a math class, so I don't need to see the test in person. Yes, yes, testing is in person. You'll bring your computer, laptop to the same room we were in, and we will take it from there. So on that note, lockdown browser, I don't know if I turned off the lockdown browser. You don't need to be on the lockdown browser because we're gonna be right there, live. Well, good. So here's my order. The order is ivermectin, 250 milligrams. On hand is 5 mLs per 250 milligrams. It is, I know. I'm setting it up. So how many mLs do I need? Because of this. I have ivermectin, 250 milligrams. On hand is 5 mLs per 250 milligrams. So how many mLs do I need? Let me set it up. 250 milligrams over 1. On hand, I have 5 mLs per 250 milligrams. Cross multiplication, cancel, because it's the same. 5 ml over 1. Basic rule of math, anything over 1 is a whole number. And there it is in real life. I know the previous texts were kind of confusing. So that's what it looks like. Another math review, basic math review. If you need some more math review, go see Gene. Next, the desired over half method. No, actually, we're still in the, desired over half method. So here's the question. You have a patient who is to have 400 milligrams of penicillin. Available is 200 milligrams tablet. So how many tablets do you need? I know you just did it in your head, but we have to work it out. The formula is dose on hand, quantity on hand over quantity on hand equals dose desired over X. Let's work it out. Your brain already told you you need 2 tablets, but let's work it out. Dose on hand is 200 milligrams. Quantity on hand is 1 tablet. That's what it comes with. Equals dose desired. I want 400 milligrams. How many tablets is that? I don't know. I have to work it out. How is this going to work? So now cross multiplication. 200x over 400 over 400 equals 400. Isolate my x, another basic math rule. Isolate the x, meaning I have to divide 400 by 20. And there is my answer. I was doing this with my finger because I couldn't find my pen. Over 2. So this is a very simple math. You did it in your head. I would recommend, if this is a test question, you give me 2, you get the point for it. But that was not the point. You need to learn how to work it out because this is a setup. For the next, I'm going to have more complicated drug calculations from this point once we get past this. And also in your next nursing school classes. Pharmacology 1, pharmacology 2, especially in pediatrics. Next. The ratio and proportion, I think I said I'm going to talk about it some other time when we get to that stage. How about this one? Another pop quiz. How many milligrams are in 200 micrograms? Pop quiz, milligrams into micrograms. 0.2, 0.2. No, I think it's 2000. You guys are doing this all wrong. Let's see. 0.2, let's move some things around. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what the answer is. Oops, answer is 200 micrograms. I need it in milligrams. Simple math. There it is. 1. Where's my 1, 2, 3? 0.2 milligrams. Correct. Next, approve abbreviations. I think I talked about some of these earlier, but here's some more. This is what you see at home for the household measurements. Teaspoon, we use TSP, tablespoon. There it is up here. Ounce, you're gonna use ounce in, I think ounce or fluid ounces a lot during your nursing career or nursing school at least. Pint, PT, quart, pound. Get yourself familiarized with these abbreviations because this is our lingo. So for testing purposes or in the future, or when you get to your clinicals and you're seeing patients, you will not see somebody write out teaspoon, spell it all out. It's always TSP, or ounces is OZ. So get used to these abbreviations. Others, oh, there it is, and with numbers on them. So this one, look at it, the conversion for among the systems, 15 ml is, remember, 1 teaspoon. Oh, it gets 1 teaspoon is 5 mLs, and 1 tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. So my 15 ml is really 1 tablespoon or half an ounce. Got 30 mLs is also 2 tablespoons, because 1 tablespoon is 15 ml or 1 ounce. 1 cup. I know this a lot because I drink a lot of coffee. 1 cup is 240 mLs. So if you have a patient, or 8 ounces, if you have a patient for their intake and output, you're measuring it and they said, oh, honey, Sonny, I just drank a cup of coffee. Okay, I'll put you down for 240. That's another 240 for the patient's intake. And there it is at the bottom, 1 teaspoon equals 5 ml. Remember this slide, please, because it's going to be conversion that's in this format. Do we need to memorize all the US standard to metric conversions? Not all. It's just what I talk about. Because there's, what is miles to kilometer? Just what, right here. We're right here. We don't care about all the other stuff. This all for this medical purposes. So here's another rule of thumb for my test. If I don't talk about it, it's not going to be on the test, because I'm not going to test you on something that I didn't cover. So if you see something on a test you didn't see, you can call me out on it. No, you're testing me on a conversion factor for a dobutamine drip, and we haven't even talked about that yet. Okay, take it out. My mistake. Like I said, if you can prove me wrong, you can have the point. And not just your point, it's everybody gets it. So conversions among liquid measures. It's kind of complicated when you're converting these volume when you get to the hospital. But you know, they like to make things easy for us nurses. So you see these little bitty medicine cups like these. It makes it easier for us to, it's like a cheat sheet when we get to the hospital. But you don't have this cheat sheet come testing time. So know your teaspoon, your ounces, you're going to be tested on that. Because one part of a test is the patient drank a cup of orange juice, half a cup of coffee, and a glass of beer. How much input, how much fluid intake did this patient have? So I had to add. Again, simple math. It's just knowing what the ounces are compared to mLs. Here's another pop quiz. How many milliliters in 2 cups of coffee? 1 cup of coffee, again, is 2 cups. I will work this one out. 2 cups. This is what I have. Over X, I don't know how much volume I have. 240 available is 240 per cup. Let's work this out. Cross multiply, cross the cup. Again, cross multiplication, 2x 240 ml. It's kind of simple. 480 ml. You can probably look at the question and give me an answer in like half a second, but here's the solution to it. Work it out for future use. Units. Some drugs will be measured in units. Here's a few of them. I don't know what this one. Oh, penicillin. Yeah. Heparin is a big one. Remember heparin was the from Dennis Quaid's kids that I showed you the video. That was a heparin measured in units. I think they said the kids were supposed to get 10 units, I think, or 5 units. And they ended up giving them 5,000 units. Vitamin D's in units. Insulin is given in units. You will be very familiar with insulin and heparin. You don't know it yet, but you will. And epogen for to increase your RBCs typically for dialysis patients. Another pop quiz. The order is to administer 10 ml of medication. How many teaspoons of this medication will you administer to the patient? What do you guys think? Drop it in my chat box. How many teaspoons is 10 ml? Are you guys going by default answer D, 2 teaspoon? Mariah's 2. 2, 2, 2. So there's that. I know it looks simplistic, but remember, I'm setting you up. Know this. 2 is correct. Oh, here we go. Now it's going to get a little complicated, but not really. Temperature. And you guys are used to using Fahrenheit for temperature. If you look at the news, they're telling you in Las Vegas today, it is 105 degrees. It is 98 degrees. They're talking about Fahrenheit. But in the in medicine, we use Celsius for temperature. Why is that? Because it's an international standard. If I get my temperature taken in France, they're going to tell me my temp is 37.0. If I take it here in Cleveland Clinic, my temperature is still 37.0 because it's the standard. So let's do some conversions. Oh, wait, and you probably already did this in one of your previous classes, but formula is fairly straightforward. If I'm converting Fahrenheit to Celsius, it's Fahrenheit minus 32 divided by 1.8. And from Celsius to Fahrenheit, it's the inverse of the formula. So it's Celsius times 1.8 plus 32. Let's see how this works out. Today's temperature in Las Vegas is 105 degrees. Convert it to Celsius. See if you can work it out, because I am going to work it out myself. 105 degrees Fahrenheit minus 32. What is that? Is 73, okay, over 1.8 equals 40.5. So there is now my temperature in Celsius. Simple math, know it, know it. Another part next is the converting into from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Today's temperature in Iceland is 13 degrees centigrade. Convert to Fahrenheit. Let's do that. 13 times 1.8. I'm just using the formula up top, which I will not give you come testing time. Plus 32. And there's my temperature in Fahrenheit. Know this formula because I'm not going to give it to you. Next example. With an oral electronic thermometer, the patient's temperature is 40 degrees centigrade. What is the patient client's temperature in Fahrenheit? Can you guys work it out? Here's my formula. I'm going to work it out also. 40 times 1.8. What is that? I really need to find my Apple Pencil. And there it is. Simple math, simple math. I didn't talk about anything complicated in this today. We're not there yet. I still got to set you up. I have a few weeks to set you guys up. Because at the end of the day, when I see you about a year from now, when you're graduating, you're going to yell at me. If you failed, if you did not get 100% on your final math score, I can see you guys pointing fingers at me. He taught us how to calculate the math. That's why we failed. So we're not doing that. Because I'm going to be there. I'm going to give it to you. So that's all I got for today. There's some homeworks. Do the work. Do. Practice. And I know a lot of these are simple, basic math, but keep doing it, keep chucking it, because I'm going to add on to it. Homework for this week. Henke's arithmetic, page 49, ATI drug administration, module and report. Oh, this third one. No, I'm going to don't do the respondus monitor because we're not using the respondus. I mean, you probably did it in your other classes because our testing is live. So you don't need to do that. I'll delete it. So don't freak out if it says you have not submitted this thing. I don't know, it might give you a red something, but don't worry about it. Questions? No questions? If not, I will see you next week. We have one session next week. I'm building up because the following week is our first test. which is okay. I was talking to somebody, one of the professors the other day, and you guys were instructed that everything you do in nursing school is high stakes. You need to score this, you need to score up. And then I tell my students to relax and it's okay and calm down. So it's kind of contradicting what you're telling them. So relax, just practice the math, you'll be fine. No question?
Professor, for the ATI, when we log into ATI, what does it say dosage or what exactly is it under?
It should say dosage and calculations, or dosage and calculations 3.0. It should say what it is. If not, let me know, because I can give you some more details. But it should be up, connected. Your account should be directly linked to it. Cool. If there's no other questions, let's check out.
I have a question, Professor Texan.
Yes.
So for converting between the US and the metric, do you want us to know all of the conversions on the household equivalent slide, or just milliliters to tablespoons to ounces?
Let me see. Let me get to that slide. Bum, 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 bum. Let me see. Oh. Convert. No. Where's my conversion? Oh, I have it down here. Come on, conversion. Is it this one? No. I think you must be talking about this one right here. Yes. No, this one. No, this one.
Okay.
And also the one after that. They kind of go hand in hand. This is the next level for the first page. But yeah, know this page because you're going to know this page. You don't know it yet, but a couple of months from now, this is going to be standard language for you. This is common knowledge. So this is more of an introduction. Just like, what is that? Converting pounds to kilograms. You might have to look it up now, but in a few months, you don't. You just know it. So just know it for now. Try to memorize it for now, even though a few months from now, it's going to be common knowledge. There are 9 modules. Do we do all of those? Is there 9 modules? Let me look into that. Ariel, I'll give you more. I'm going to sign into ATI. Okay, there's more questions on ATI. Let me log into ATI when we get off of here, and I'll send you guys an email. It should be just one module, because so I don't know what's connected to your account. Should be one module per week, but let me see. Questions? Is it?
Professor, did I miss it or not? This recorded lecture for today's will be available to watch, and if so, then where?
I will, let me stop this. Stop. I will send you guys a link. I'll put it in the announcement. I'll put it on YouTube because this code doesn't have enough memory in the bank.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think Katrina's right. It's just this is the first module, but let me make sure. Because I'm almost positive Katrina's right, but I don't want to give you the wrong information. Any other questions? I'll look at it right now and let you. So you should be getting an email from me within the next few minutes. I'm gonna pause.